Hey everyone, today we have an amazing video in store for you guys. We have a return guest, Shane Sterling, who recently turned 50 years old, and he came on for a great anti-aging video recently. And there were many important things we missed in that video. So here we are today to go over many of his other anti-aging secrets and answer a few of your questions. It's going to be so good, beginning to end. So you guys are going to want to stick around right till the end. Give it a big thumbs up right now and make sure to subscribe, and let's get right into it. Hey Shane, how's it going? You have a nice glow.
Hi, Jillian. Hello, everybody listening. How is everybody? Thank you. Yes, I just got back from Costa Rica, so I have a little bit of a sun glow. I'm
Yeah, and
happy about that since it's winter.
you recently turned 50 and you look incredible. There's no denying that. And of course, everybody's so interested. The other video did so well. Everybody's so interested because you look so great for 50 years old. And I'm not insulting anybody who looks any other way at 50 or whatever, but you look so great and it really stands out to me. So I want to know, I want to start off with, why do you think so many people have such a hard time believing you can look this amazing at 50, raw vegan, like that naturally, that you naturally look this good at 50?
Well, our perspective is completely skewed in our society because we're eating toxic foods, fried foods and cooked foods and animal products, which give us a very distorted perspective on what health and vitality and youthfulness really is. So most people don't look very good at age 50 by midlife. And so when somebody looks healthy because they've lived a good plant-based lifestyle, it's hard to accept, hard to understand. And a lot of people turn to surgery or Botox or, things like this. And people always accuse me of that. But I have lived a disciplined, amazing lifestyle. I've been mostly vegan all of my life, 33 years, with many years of focus on strict vegan lifestyle, healthy, whole food, juicing, and I've been raw vegan for over 5 years. And that combination has made me just, be an example of a different level of aging. So I'm 100% convinced it is lifestyle. Now, people say genetics plays a huge part, and I'm just lucky that I have good genetics. However, my father is 80 and he has heart disease. He had just a triple bypass surgery. God bless his soul. He's on his way out. He's eaten meat his whole life. I asked him to go vegan when I was a teenager. I was like, Dad, you got to cut out the meat. Come on, man. But now today at 80 years old, only 30 years older than me, he looks like he's about to die, completely gray, wrinkled old man going in for heart surgery at the end of his life. Do you think I'm going to look like that in 30 years? Oh, hell no. I'm going to be running around, living my life. I'm just getting started, So for me, 30 years, this is going to be the next best 30 years of my life.
Yeah.
And my mother, she's 75. She doesn't look very good for her age either. Also, cooked food diet, animal products. My sister, who's only 2 years younger than me, looks older than me, a lot older than me. And she also never went vegan. I asked her to many times. Me and my sister would go out to eat together, and I'd be like, hey, don't get the animal products. Just get a salad like me. Come on. And she would always refuse. She would always get the meat on her salad. And these types of lifestyle choices over time skew the aging perspective. So my sister, being younger than me, looks a lot older than me. She also drinks and smokes and eats animal products and doesn't exercise regularly and the whole thing. So lifestyle is the primary factor for aging, not genetics. My family is proof that it is not genetics.
I agree 100%. But yeah, I'm surprised there were so many comments because we went over that in the last video, a bit about genetics. And I agree with you on that 100%. I think it's mostly lifestyle and there's a bit of genetics. So, I mean, I'd love for you to expand a little bit on that if you have anything else to say, because so many people still said it's genetics. It's genetics. And some people said they see carnivores or people that eat a lot of meat look 20 years younger and look really good, or carnivores or people that eat a lot of meat still experience like deep levels of healing. So why do you think that is?
Well, most people are coming from a standard American diet, the SAD diet, processed food, fried food, overly cooked foods like this. And so if we give that a break, if we just turn to whole food, even meat, it's going to allow the body a chance to regenerate to some degree. However, meat has a serious side effect, which is uric acid buildup in the body. Acid is what degenerates the skin, destroys the hair follicles, the hair follicles, deteriorates the body. So even though a whole food diet, including meat, can temporarily alleviate the inflammation from a processed food diet, like seed oils and fried foods and processed carbohydrates, to where it's going to then, over time, create a long-term degenerative condition because of the acids. So if we look at the Inuit Eskimos, for example, they eat a whole food meat-based diet, completely raw for the most part. The traditional indigenous Inuit are up there eating raw whale fat and seal meat. So they are not eating an overly cooked processed diet, heavily relying on meat. However, the Inuit Eskimos have the shortest lifespan of any culture on Earth, and they have arthritis. They are generally aging and dying in the 50s or 60s. They have a short lifespan, and they have acidosis symptoms. So acid is the problem. But when people say, how do we prevent aging? It's removing acids from the body and living a lifestyle that continually removes acids from the body. That's going to be the number one factor. So eating processed food introduces a lot of acids. We're going to get inflammation. Then if we cut out processed food and eat meat, that's going to be one level less of inflammation and acids. But if we cut out meat and we go to a whole food plant-based diet, we're removing acids continually throughout our lifetime. That's why somebody like me looks good at age 50. Now, most people turning to a carnivore diet are going to be maybe still young, maybe in their 30s, maybe in their 40s. You know, it catches up to us over time. So we've got to look at people in their 50s, 60s, 70s, and 80s who have been on a 100% carnivore diet for 40 years and see the result. So it's skewed again, and whole food does reduce inflammation, but the key to the whole thing, the whole shebang, is in acids. Remove acids from the body, remove acids from your skin, you're gonna glow. That's why people who juice regularly have a glow to them, a glow in their skin, a glow in their eyes, because the juice is continually detoxing the acids, the alkaline minerals in fresh juice from the greens neutralizes the acids from metabolic waste. Every food we eat will create metabolic waste, and every food we eat produces some sort of acid. And the juices and the raw foods, fruits and salads neutralize those acids and flush the waste. That's the whole shebang right there. That's the key that everybody needs to understand.
So you don't think you would look as amazing and as good if you were eating like a whole foods diet, like all clean, nothing processed, but a little bit of animal products. So like a little bit of chicken and salmon and stuff like that. You don't think you'd look as good as this?
I was doing that for many years. You know, there was a time in my life where I released my strict vegan approach and I just was a little more relaxed about it. So I would have chicken and salmon here and there. There was about a 15-year period of my life where I was more relaxed. However, I never liked animal products. Every time I would eat chicken, I'd be like, man, this is gross. There's a piece of tendon or a vein in there, or it would just taste like dead animal. Same with fish. It's just like gross tasting to me. Don't like it at all. So I just naturally wouldn't gravitate toward it, but I would still have it just because of our society and stuff for a bunch of years. But when I went raw vegan, when I cut all that out and I really committed to a strict alkaline raw diet, it took like at least 10 years to 15 years off the way I looked. It dropped age. I mean, you can go back and look at my YouTube videos from when I started, or pictures that I've posted on Instagram or wherever. You can see I've shown it that I have dropped age 20 years, 15 years from being 100% raw. In fact, right before I went raw vegan, I was a little bit unhealthy, maybe a lot unhealthy, which is part of the catalyst that sparked my desire to go fully raw vegan. And I was looking like a middle-aged man. I was 44 at the time, or 43, and I looked like a middle-aged man. Pale skin, a little bit lumpy, a little bit extra weight, a little bit bloated, a little bit inflamed in the skin, and you can see it. And today, my skin is tight and glowing, and it has color to it. You know, regardless of my little sun glow I just got from my vacation in Costa Rica, I always have a little bit of color to my skin based on my alkaline diet. Bringing in the phytochemicals, the phytonutrients from those plants gives you color in your skin. I can tell a meat eater, a dairy eater a mile away.
Me too.
because they have a
And
little bit of,
you get the
you know,
bags too. Like
yeah,
if
they got
people,
the bags, a little
yeah,
bit of lumpiness in the skin. It's just not tight. It's just not bright, and I can
no
see,
offense to anyone, not trying to be a jerk, but
yeah,
yeah.
no offense, but this is just observation. And I saw a guy in Costa Rica actually who just looked so beautiful, such vibrant, glowing skin and eyes. And he was running a little juice shop there in the town of Puerto Viejo where I was visiting. And I asked him, I said, "Are you a raw vegan?" And he said, "Yeah, I'm mostly raw vegan." And he said, "In fact, I actually mostly drink juice these days." And he was making juice and selling them for people on the street. I could see it instantaneously. The guy looked like he was a teenager. His skin was perfect. His eyes were bright and glowing. That's the result of a raw vegan diet right there.
It is. And do you remember the last time you had a bite of an animal product or no?
It'd be close to 6 years now.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
Yeah.
good. And
Yeah.
I know a lot of people commented that I don't think we touched on this in the last video, and this is very true. They commented that stress is a big factor. We might have touched on it a bit, but a big factor with aging. And I think that's so true. And a couple people commented saying, you must not have kids because you look so good and kids cause stress. And I
People
can
always
attest a
say
little
that
bit of
to
that.
me.
I love my kids, but they do cause extra stress, the sleepless nights and but God bless them. I love my kids more than anything. But so how would you recommend any tips for dealing with stress and life's challenges? And also, I know as we get older, things can happen to us, traumas or things that cause us to be resentful or bitter. And I think those can really age us. So, do you have any tips for not letting those things get the best of us and staying on the bright side and the light side of life?
Absolutely, Jillian. I have 2 children. I became a father at the age of 35. So it's been a long time. My oldest is now about to turn 15. Now, what I did was in the stress of parenthood, which is very real, years of sleepless nights, let me tell
Mm-hmm.
you, I decided to really step into my full potential and power as a human being and not let the challenges, the struggle, the stress, and the burden of childbearing years and child rearing years get the better of me. And that's when I decided to go raw vegan. I was struggling with the anxiety and the depression. Like I said, I got a little bit lumpy and pale, and I just was not healthy. I had inflammation, I had dandruff and seborrheic dermatitis. I had to heal my gut. I said, you know what? I forget this. I'm going to step into the absolute most vibrant version of my life with kids, the whole shebang. I'm going to choose me first
Mm-hmm.
because it's like the lifeline. It's like when you fly in the plane, they say put the oxygen mask on yourself first, because if you don't, if you die, you can't help anybody anyway. So if
Mm-hmm.
you're run down, if you're, stressed out, if you've given up on life, if you feel hopeless, you can't help your kids. What kind of an example are you going to be for your kids? So what I did, and this is what we got to do, we've got to remove ourselves from the stress enough for a split second to just see a bird's eye view and to say, I'm going to choose me first. How do I just pull back for a second and say, what do I need to thrive here? What do I need? For me, it was going fully raw vegan, putting all of that processed food, cooked food, and animal products behind me and getting disciplined, getting focused, getting motivated, being an inspiring person, living a freaking inspiring lifestyle. Now, that in turn energizes the body, the cells, the mind, the spiritual connection, the purpose and meaning of life. Then all of a sudden, you have more energy, more perspective to handle the little buggers who are stressing you out and you can't sleep and all that stuff. That's exactly what I did,
Mm-hmm.
and I learned how to sleep with earplugs and put eye masks on and do all my things to like reduce the stress and get sleep and all that stuff. But going raw vegan was absolutely an important step for me to claim myself in the midst of the hardest years of my life with young children, growing my business. And there were years where I was not doing good and I had to claim myself first, or I would not be who I am right now. I would be downtrodden, middle-aged, not feeling good, not an example. We would not be talking right now if I had not gone raw vegan and claimed myself first.
Mm-hmm. And do you think it's one of the best things you've done with your life is go raw vegan?
It is the best thing I've ever done with my life. I mean, literally, Jillian, it's the best thing. I mean, it's given me vision. The number one thing, it's given me vision for my purpose here on the planet. I really feel like I've stepped into my purpose and mission since going raw vegan. I know who I am. I know what I have to do. I know what I can contribute. I know how to energize my body and my mind and my soul. I feel aligned. There's nothing that can come close to the feeling of aligning our vision, our values, and our actions. When we align the vision, values, and actions into one, everything falls into place. Our relationships improve, our income improves. People are skeptical of this type of thing, but alignment means everything. And if we are out of alignment, if we want to be raw, but we're not, we want to be vegan, but we're not, if we want to be healthy, but we're not, we are out of alignment and everything suffers. How we do one thing is how we do everything. So if we take the one thing of our health, what we put on our plate, how we feed this vessel, this temple, that one thing becomes everything. And therefore, the one daily practice and discipline becomes the practice and discipline of all things. And it absolutely transforms our life. So couldn't be better. I'm very, very grateful that I went fully raw vegan.
Yeah, me too. It's the best thing I did, and very well said. And a lot of people were commenting. So you said in the last video that in your opinion, the number one anti-aging food is fruit, like high sugar fruit, dates, watermelon, things like that. So a lot of people have the misconception that like sugar is bad, even if it's fruit sugar. So I would love for you to expand on that for us right now.
Great, I'd love to. The reason sugar in whole food fruit, like dates and watermelon and oranges and everything else, berries, is the most ideal food for the human body and helps us anti-age is because it's the easiest to digest. The fruit sugar isn't the point. The ease of digestion for the energy is the point. The fruit gives us the most energy for the least work. That's the whole point. There's no way to elaborate it on more than that. The least amount of work for the most amount of energy. Obviously, we can see this in every cause and effect in our lives. That's what we're after. How do we get the most energy from the least amount of effort? Because the more work we require of our body, the quicker we're going to age. The more stress we put our body under, the quicker we're going to age. The more food we eat, the quicker we're going to age. One of the keys to anti-aging is reducing the volume of food we're eating. Lighter eaters age better than heavy eaters. So if we're eating a lot of food like grains, fried food, processed food, meat. Now, meat, of course, is a whole food, but it is a burden on the body. It's hard to digest. It's a complex structure. All complex structures, including starches. That's why grains like beans and rice are not good foods for the human body, because it's a complex starch structure. The body has to work very hard to break that down into, can you guess, the body's breaking starch down into simple sugars. So if we just eat the simple sugars in fruit first, it requires no digestive effort for the body whatsoever. Fruit is filled with water and fiber, so it moves through the digestive system very quickly, hardly any digestive effort, and it gives us all of that energy and calories. So if we eat 1,000 calories of oranges, it's going to move through our digestive system so fast. Doesn't require insulin, easy uptake into the cells for energy, very little digestive effort. It's in and out so quickly. That's why fruit is the number one anti-aging food. And that's why sugar, whole food fruit sugar, is the ideal food for the human body. Very little effort.
And do you think some fasting contributes to some anti-aging qualities as well? Like a little bit of intermittent fasting or fasting here and there because you're taking in less food to digest. So it's like less work on the body.
Yes. Yes. In fact, throughout my 20s, actually, I just was a young man and I would eat one meal a day, not because I was trying to, or because I wanted to be healthy, or because I even knew the term intermittent fasting, but probably for a good decade or more of my life, I would really only eat one main meal a day, just because I was a young man, I was creative, I was doing other things, I wasn't focused on food so much. And so I really wouldn't be putting a lot of food through my digestive system. And when I did eat, I would just eat kind of all at once to get it done and out of the way. All through my 20s, I really always looked at food as kind of just a burden or a necessity. I really actually wasn't really into food or a foodie, which is why a raw vegan diet suits me so well, because it's so little prep time, so little effort, so little thought and energy to just eat salad and fruit and smoothies. So it serves my lifestyle, but then it also really, doesn't create the digestive burden. I can still, not eat that much now as I've detoxed my gut and I've gotten very efficient at absorbing raw foods. I really eat very little. It's actually quite amazing how much muscle mass I can have. I'm about 200 pounds, and to maintain that body weight and to be lean and healthy and fit, I work out 6 days a week at the gym from pretty much little food, fruit and salad. Most people
Yeah.
wouldn't think that's possible.
And you have great
But
muscle.
the
If you don't mind showing us your muscles for a second, that would be great. As a raw vegan at 50, your muscle mass is amazing. So
Yeah.
what is the daily, like, what are you currently eating? What is on your menu today for food that makes you look this good?
I start every day pre-workout with a pre-workout smoothie. My pre-workout smoothie is always a base of bananas and dates. And I put in flax seeds usually in my smoothie because it's easy to blend those up. But I always do cacao and maca. Cacao is a superfood. It actually helps the body build muscle. It's very high in protein. It's high in the flavonoids, and the theobromine in cacao dilates the blood vessels, stimulates the blood vessels. One of the ways to build muscle is to open up the blood vessels and have higher blood flow to the muscles. That helps you be stronger because there's more energy moving through the muscles, but
Mhm.
also it helps the muscles recover better, which is how you actually build muscle. So I attribute my daily intake of raw cacao, cold processed cacao powder in my smoothie every day
Yeah.
before I work out as one of the contributing factors. Most people will turn to sports supplements like pre-workout powders. That stuff is garbage. Stay away from that. And I'm not big on caffeine. There's a tiny micro amount of caffeine in cacao, almost negligible. For the amount I put in my smoothie, maybe 3 tablespoons, there would be really a not even a notable amount of caffeine. However, the theobromine will dilate the blood vessels. It's not a central nervous system stimulant, but it helps the body build muscle. I mean, I just have been doing it every day for 4 years. So that's my pre-workout smoothie.
And you put dates in
Then,
there too, I think, right?
did I say that? Bananas
No,
and
I don't
dates?
think you did. You do banana. I'm gonna try this. So you do banana, cacao, maca, dates, and anything else. That's it, right? And ice.
I will put in ashwagandha.
Okay.
Okay. And I will put in other superfoods sometimes, depending, like sometimes reishi or cordyceps mushrooms are my favorite. Sometimes I'll put in a little ginseng, things like that. Like I'll do
Okay.
adaptogenic herbs are one of my favorites, which is why I love maca, why I love ginseng, why I love ashwagandha, because these are adaptogenic herbs. Now, people have their opinions, but I think the results speak for themselves. I wouldn't ever go without the adaptogenic herbs. They're critical for my life, for my mental well-being, for my body, for my health, my stamina. I love them.
Yeah, what are the
So
sorry, before we get into the rest of the day, okay, just 2 things quick. When I have cacao, it's like a drug to me. It really amps me up, and then, like, I come down off of it, and I wish I could consume it because I love it. Do you think there's a reason for that, or for anybody else out there who experiences, like, their heart racing with cacao? Or do you think just some of us have to stay away from it?
yeah, no, you don't have to stay away from it. Think of it this way. Imagine that you wanted to build muscle or become an athlete or become very athletic or build, like build an amazing physique that was inspiring to people. How would you do that? It would take a couple years of hard work in the gym. You have to find the motivation, the energy, and the stamina to go into the gym for an hour or two every day, 6 days a week for 2 years to get those results. So we need some sort of motivation. A lot of people turn to sports supplements and those pre-workouts, like I was saying, but you go try those and tell me how you feel. Those things will
Mhm.
knock you on your butt. Those things are highly real stimulants to the central nervous system, very problematic. And people rely on those to get that kind of edge in the gym. If we need an edge in the gym, then we got to rely on something. My suggestion would be that if you love cacao and you had it regularly, your body would adapt and you would get those benefits. But like anytime we try anything, you're going to feel like, whoa, the first time you try anything, it is an active ingredient that is going to stimulate the body in an effective way for athleticism, building muscle, and bringing blood flow to the muscle tissue and the cells.
Okay.
So if you don't do it regularly, you'll probably feel it very strong the first time. But you know what? I'll tell you, there is no come down from cacao. Maybe in the first couple times you try it, but it's not a central nervous system stimulant. So it's like the energy is very even and sustained.
Hmm,
But like
okay.
with anything, we might feel disoriented the first time we try it. Hey, this goes for fats too when we're fruitarian for extended periods of time. I was strict low fat fruit for a year and a half, almost 2 years. in order to heal my inflammation. And when I went back to higher fats, I felt like the fats were killing me. I felt like the fats were just taking my energy down, that they were making me sluggish and tired. I was like, well, we shouldn't be eating fats. Well, no, of course we should be eating fats. Like, so what is it that I'm experiencing? We're experiencing a transition from our status quo, the norm. Our body adapts. Our body wants to stay the same. If we want to stimulate change in the body, we want to be an athletic, inspirational person, we're going to have to stimulate change in the body. We can't sit on our ass and expect it to change. We've got to kick our butt into gear. So how do we do that? For me, I'm more motivated by results. I'm going to stick with raw vegan foods, but I'm motivated by results. I want the results. So for me, cacao gives me the results. And if I have to go through a transitional period to utilize the effects of cacao, then I'm going to do that, which is exactly what I've done and why I've had it every day for 4
And then,
years.
so that's like, what do you have? Like a 32 ounce? Like this is a 32 ounce jar. Is it around that size?
Correct. A 32 ounce jar. And I'll put probably 3 tablespoons of cacao in my smoothie for a 32 ounce jar. Correct.
Raw cacao powder. Okay. So you have that for breakfast.
Yeah, have that for breakfast. And then after my workouts, I'll usually have a concentrated like green juice, like the lemon ginger blast. I will make my green juices days ahead of time. I have them in the fridge. I have those after my workout for the minerals, for the nutrients, the phytochemicals, all of the proteins of the greens. Just bam, big reset to the body, plus fruit monomeal. I love pineapple post-workout. And then I'll have a big salad for dinner. Usually my salads are pretty big and I make them healthy and hearty and full of stuff. You know, I'll add all my fats for the day in there. I'll put pumpkin seeds and hemp seeds and walnuts and load it up. You know, I load up my salads, make them usually very high calorie, very nutrient dense. I love sprouts. I'll sometimes put ferments in there, fermented vegetables, sauerkraut. I mean, I really make a robust, hearty salad. That's it.
That's great. I think that's important to have those big salads as a raw vegan. Okay, so my viewers have a couple great questions that I'm going to ask in a second, but we didn't touch on the sun as well. So, I mean, a lot of people say some raw vegans or vegans look older and age more, and some people think it's because of the sun, because in this lifestyle, it's very common to be heavy into the sun, or any lifestyle. Some people might age more because they love the sun. I mean, I love the sun, but have you spent time out of the sun? What are your thoughts on how the sun ages us?
Well, I really have avoided the sun for a lot of my life, actually, not intentionally, but all through my teens and 20s, I was more of an intellectual, artistic type of kid. I was into making music. I would sit in my room for hours and hours on end. I really was not an athletic or sporty type of kid, so I would not play outdoors. I did not play sports. I was not exposed to the sun. My sister would sunbathe with all of her friends on the porch at the house when I was a kid, in high school. And she looks the part now. She's got sunspots now. She's 48 and wrinkly skin. And I just think, boy, I'm glad I stayed out of the sun all those years. Now, I didn't intentionally avoid the sun. This was just my lifestyle. I kind of was an alternative, new age punk goth type of kid, you could say, you know, back in the 80s, you know, new wave was the thing, right? So I had the spiky hair and the black clothes and the eyeliner. The sun was not my thing, you know? So instead of out rollerblading or sunbathing, I was inside making music, being artistic and that kind of thing. That went on till I was about 30. I was really not into the sun until about 30. But I will tell you now, as a raw vegan, when I only eat raw phytonutrient rich plants, I can't burn. Like I went to Costa Rica recently. I'm in the bright tropical equator sun. I didn't burn. I did get some peeling on my shoulder from constant sun exposure, being out playing in the waves for 2 weeks, but I did not burn. I spent a lot of time in the sun, and I don't avoid the sun anymore. But I don't know, my skin is the result of probably a couple decades of not being into the sun, plus now a raw vegan diet, plus now getting a little bit of healthy sun to keep that kind of glow in the skin. And that's what I have going.
And your hair. Okay, I just want to ask, because a lot of people say that our hair is genetic. So my mom, she's 65. She doesn't have one gray hair. And I remember my grandmother, her mom, I don't know if she ever got gray hair. It was pretty crazy. I'm 40. I don't have one gray hair, which I love, which is great. But I'm wondering, are your parents, nothing against gray hair though, are your parents gray? Did they gray young? Do you remember when they went gray? Because like your hair is still such a beautiful color for this age. I think it's just wonderful.
Thank you. Thank you so much. My hair is not dyed, people. Everybody accuses me of dyeing my hair. Absolutely not. If I did have gray hair, I would want it to be what it was, because a little bit of silver for a 50-year-old man is kind of sexy.
Yeah, it
So
is.
I wouldn't hide it, right? I wouldn't hide it. I do have a little salt and pepper in my beard, though. So that's my like battle scars, my gray salt and pepper beard. Being 50, I gotta have some grays, right? But my dad is completely gray and went completely gray. I think by the time he was 50, he was mostly gray.
Hmm.
And my mom has less gray hair. However, her dad was completely bald and gray by the time he was like 30. My mom's dad was bald
Wow.
and gray very early. But my mom, however, has less gray, less than most women her age. She's in her 70s now. And she always told me that she thought the reason she didn't go as gray as her peers was because of her focus on juicing and nutrient dense foods. She was always into superfoods, my mom. She was into superfoods and juicing. And I would remember when I was a kid, she would make me juice and I would hate it and tell her, Mom, this is gross. I don't like the taste of this. What is it? But it affected me. And of course, I started juicing as a teenager too. So that was what she always said. She always said the nutrient density, copper and tin was what she always like read. I don't know if
Hmm.
that's true, but that's what she always
Interesting.
said. It's the copper and tin that I get in my superfoods. So she's less gray, but I don't know, because her
Hmm.
dad was bald and gray by the time he was 30. So it's hard to tell.
It's hard to
Hard to
tell. It's
tell.
hard to know the exact answer with that one. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
But one
And
thing I do know for sure, though, is I've been plant-based most of my life. I've been juicing since I was a teenager. I'm raw vegan. I focus on superfoods and nutrient density. So, I mean, come on, this plays a part. Like if I had been eating animal products my whole life, guarantee I wouldn't look the way I do. Guaranteed.
yeah, and as people have told me over the years that it's the vitamin D, and they said that in the tropical climates, there's way less balding because they're getting way more sun and way more vitamin D, and that's why they say there's more balding in North America. I don't know if that's true, but that's like
Mm.
there's a lot out there about that, but you've also spent like a lot of time in your life out of the sun too. So I don't know if that theory holds true, but
I don't know if that theory holds true. And I've heard so many different theories. One theory is that the life force and the chi energy in men, is required for that, for the stimulation of the follicles. But a lot of men say that. But I don't know if that's true either, because who knows what that is. I think, honestly, if I could just kind of nutshell what I think it is, I think it's just good lifestyle. I think it's low acid buildup in the body, because the
mhm,
acids will destroy the follicles, the cells. The cells struggle in an acid environment. If you want to destroy something, a cell in a petri dish, you put acid in there. Acid destroys, alkalinity grows. If you need to grow cells in a petri dish, it has to be an alkaline environment.
mm,
Stem cells growing, creating life, the forest, the tropical rainforest, biodiversity, life, alkaline. Trees, air, sun, water, rivers, oceans, alkaline. It's the acids that destroy. Think about the volcano and acid rain, right? We're barren, empty landscape, acid destroys. So if you want to destroy your hair follicles, make sure you got acid accumulating in your body. That's going to do it. Where
mm,
does acid come from? The top acid forming foods. Number one, meat, dairy, eggs, grains,
mhm,
oils, starches, sugar, processed foods, chemicals, preservatives, household environmental chemicals, things like this. Those create acid in the body. So I've avoided all that most of my life. Everything acid I've avoided most of my life.
mhm,
So I
mhm.
think that's what it is.
Yeah, amazing. Okay. And I think there were about, I think as of now, there's around 600 or 700 comments on our last video about this. So I picked just two that I liked for questions for you. And I think
Okay.
these are interesting questions that other people could relate to or would want to know. So Janine said, all these muscle building people say you need collagen from animals to heal your cartilage in your joints and for your bones and everything. So this is a common thing. And she said a little bit more about collagen. But what are your thoughts on this? Especially as we get older, people say we need that collagen from the animals to heal properly and age properly. So what do you think about that?
Our body produces all of the collagen necessary for regenerating cells and elasticity in the skin. It has nothing to do with dietary collagen. Dietary collagen is a complex protein structure which requires high effort from the body and produces acid metabolic waste. Like I was saying, anything that produces acid metabolic waste will actually be counterproductive to collagen. So eating animal-based collagen will actually reduce our body's natural collagen production. Eating dietary collagen reduces our body's natural ability to produce collagen. Real collagen is produced by the body from alkaline sources. The building blocks of our own natural collagen would be amino acids in raw, undenatured, whole plant-based foods like greens and nuts and seeds and fruits. And then also alkaline, so making sure it's undenatured, uncooked, whole nutrient-dense food. So when we focus on nutrient density, we're supporting the functionality of the organs and the production of collagen. This is one reason why vegans get it wrong and why raw vegan truly is the solution, because it supports the conversions in the body. The body has to convert nutrients to produce everything we need. And one of the reasons the meat eaters and the carnivores always poo-poo a vegan diet is that we don't produce certain amino acids, but our body converts them. Or we don't get them in the food. Excuse me. We don't get those amino acids in the food, but our body converts them. And if our body is efficient at converting amino acids, converting omega-3s to DHA, converting amino acids to collagen, then we stay youthful. But if we're eating the complex acid-forming foods, it will be counterproductive. So unfortunately, all of these women buying collagen products at Whole Foods or natural grocery stores, thinking they're being healthy, supporting their youthfulness, they're actually taking away, they're creating burden in the body, adding acid waste, increasing premature aging from collagen
So you don't buy
products.
any of those collagen powders for your smoothies or like anything like that?
Not at all. Not at all.
Okay.
No.
Okay. And okay, Derek said something that I thought a lot of people could relate to. And I think this is the cause of a lot of aging in our body too, for some people. So he said, chronic constipation is something that comes from my father. I am still looking for a cure or a remedy. Any suggestions? Thanks.
Yeah, great. Chronic constipation is why our body accumulates acids. So the acids are produced by the metabolic functions. As we eat food, as we produce energy, we produce acid. The acid has to come out. And where does it go? It comes out the bowels. If there's any pressure in the bowels, it will accumulate in the body, in the interstitial fluids, in the fluids where the cells are, where our hair follicles are and our skin cells. So the acids accumulate in between the cells. So if we can relieve the pressure in the bowels, roto-rooter the digestive system, open it up, clean it out, so there's no pressure and no constipation, that will be the number one thing we can do for anti-aging and overall regenerative health in the body. So the best way to do that is to do a juice fast. Juice fasting is particularly effective for this. Water fasting isn't so effective for opening up the pressure in the bowels because there's nothing to flush the bowels and you're not giving the body energy. The body needs energy to focus on waste elimination and removing impacted waste in the bowels. So water fasting is not good. Dry fasting also is not good for eliminating waste out of the bowels because there's no energy, no water, nothing moving through the digestive system to help flush it. Juice fasting, however, provides a high amount of hydration and energy and minerals and nutrition, so the body can sustain a juice fast much longer than water fasting or dry fasting, therefore giving the body the adequate time to focus on waste removal out of the digestive system. So the number one way to eliminate constipation is to do an extended juice fast and possibly multiple extended juice fasts if you have serious chronic constipation in your family.
Yeah. And we did a great video on how juice fasting will change your life recently. So I'll put that on the screen at the end of this video. Same with the first anti-aging video we did as well on the screen at the end of this video, because those were so good. And I didn't mean to cut you off. If there's anything else you want to say on that, just let me know.
Yeah, I think it's really important for people to realize the power of juice fasting at least one time in their life. It doesn't have to be something that's ongoing. You don't have to juice fast all the time. It's not a diet. It's not a lifestyle. It's a temporary intervention protocol to remove the pressure in the bowels so the interstitial fluid can drain out the acids. So you want to talk about collagen in the skin, drain out the acids. That's why people who juice look so good. This is why it's noticeable in the skin and the eyes, because it's removing the waste and the acid buildup out of the body. Saturated fats from animal products cannot do that. Eating meat, cooked meats cannot do that. They have the opposite effect. This is why the animal products and the carnivores, I really got nothing on it, because they're not able to flush the waste and the toxins and increase bowel transit time by eating whole food cooked meats and dairy products and eggs. It won't happen. You've got to use fresh, alkaline, raw, homemade juices, and you go as long as it takes to empty the GI tract. This is my area of expertise. This has been my coaching work for many years. I've helped hundreds of people personally and witnessed thousands of people go through this process. Most people will eliminate 20 to 30 pounds of waste out of their GI tract. And even if you're underweight, say you're a woman who's 5'2" and 115 pounds, and you're always thinking about keeping your weight on, this is the person who needs to clean the digestive system the most, because you've got to absorb better. It will help balance your body composition. Also, people who are overweight, carrying extra weight, hard to get off that weight. You're obese, your body mass index is high. Detox the body, clean the bowels out, and all of a sudden the body can dismantle the fat cells because it's emptying out, draining out the bowels. So bowel detoxification is the #1 way to achieve optimal body composition and anti-aging. Juice fasting is just a tool to get there, and it's the #1 tool to use, as well as an ongoing alkaline detoxifying lifestyle, like being raw vegan.
Yeah, absolutely. Well said. You're just always on fire with the words, and I love it. And this has been great. I love this anti-aging series we have going on. So if there's anything you feel called to end off with for this one, maybe how people can feel their best and look their best and age their best, then absolutely do so, and let everybody know where they can find you, and I'll link it down below.
Thanks, Jillian. I would really suggest that people should not let their fear stop them. There's a lot of fears, but what we need to do is surround ourselves with other successful raw vegans. Community is the way we break through limitation. Community helps us find the discipline. We don't need to figure out all the answers. We don't need to figure out how to reinvent the wheel or to become a raw vegan on our own. We need to surround ourselves with a community, a family of other people who are doing this lifestyle. And then we will naturally pick up on what works, and we'll see what somebody else does. Oh, Linda, who's 65, she's doing this. Wow, look at her results. And you'll get an idea. All of a sudden, the clarity will come to you. The roadmap will appear before you for your divine path of healing and purpose. Community is how we break through. So that's what I do. I offer my community, Raw Vegan Heroes. And if you want to find me, go to my website, 𝑟awveganrising.com. Check out my membership, Raw Vegan Heroes. Also on Instagram and YouTube, Raw Vegan Rising. I've got tons of content out there, and I'm always just happy to support people, talk to people. My whole focus is on building community, because that's what I feel is my purpose and my mission on Earth. Since going raw vegan, since doing my detoxification journey, my healing journey, it's led me to want to build community. And so that's what I would recommend for people. Community is the answer we're all looking for. And I would say that for the people who say, oh, well, I should do it on my own, everything, I've always been successful on my own, I can always do it on my own. This is a dangerous mindset. We don't want to do it on our own. The lone wolf people are the ones who struggle and become sick or go back to animal products or become the anti-vegans. We need community. Surround yourselves with the support, the love of family, the inspiration of family, of people on the same lifestyle. And then we don't have to worry about being the anti-vegans or failing or having questions or fears, puts it all to rest. So Raw Vegan Rising on Instagram.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thanks, Shane. Thanks for coming back on. I've loved this, like always. And to the viewers, I hope you guys loved it as well. If you did, give it a big thumbs up right now. And make sure to subscribe and go check out the amazing videos I'm going to put on the screen right now. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.